Good morning, guys. Welcome in. How are you all doing? It is a beautiful morning. I hope everybody is ready to dive into it. I hope everybody had a nice Wednesday session. Welcome in, everybody. Steve K, JP, David Acosta, J Mar, I'm doing well. Thank you. Thank you for asking. It is a beautiful, chilly morning in New York as well, Express. It's cold. It is cold here. Welcome in. Welcome. I hope you guys all had a beautiful trading session on Wednesday. And if you didn't, I hope you have a good trading session today. We have some levels today, some things happening in the pre-market this morning. A lot of the things happened yesterday were quite nice. We'll talk a little bit about SPY and what's going on at SPY this morning. Some downside yesterday. And the market has basically brought us back to where we were before, right? Nothing's really crazy here. If you guys are looking into my pre-market, look at the title of the live stream today. It's a clickbait. It is a clickbait. It is the definition of a clickbait because the market's kind of selling off, but it's not really that much, right? I mean, this is a sell-off, right? This Friday is sell-off. That's a sell-off. What is this? This is just a cool down period, right? So we are going to discuss this on the SPY chart. We're going to have a beautiful morning here on SPY. We'll go over what's going on there in SPY. We'll go over the ES chart. We'll talk about ES downside this morning as well. Back at 6,700 ES. We'll go over QQQ. We'll talk about the Q's level this morning. We'll go over QQQ 60250 as your big level this morning. Yesterday was all about 610, right? You guys saw the 610 breakdowns yesterday. Look at the 610 breakdowns. This was your textbook breakdowns yesterday's session. You would break down under 610. You kind of reclaim it. You sell off underneath the second time. Big downside. It sells all the way to 606. You come back up. You retest 610. The big downside move comes in, right? So some pretty textbook price action yesterday, right? And I think today's session is looking good, right? Good price action on Monday, Tuesday, and now Wednesday. So let's see if we can get this continuation here on Thursday, okay? We're going to go over some names that are moving in the pre-market session. We have Tesla moving here pre-market. Tesla is a big one, right? Tesla earnings moving in the pre-market, but is it moving that much? Look at the larger picture, right? Not really, right? It's stuck in the range. So we are going to discuss this range here on Tesla, still stuck in the range post-earnings. We'll go over Nvidia. Nvidia was a good short yesterday. If you guys were in the live stream yesterday, you know what I was looking for. To be honest with you, it wasn't just Nvidia that was the short yesterday, right? If you guys recall, what did we say? I think the biggest thing that we had the most conviction on yesterday going into our pre-market was on semiconductors, right? If you look at the SMH yesterday, what happened to the SMH? What was the reason why the market sold off so much yesterday? Well, in reality, it actually was because semis moved, the semiconductor sector moved from 345 at market open to 332 at market close. This was actually a pretty big sell-off on semiconductors. And if you look at broad-based semiconductors, you look at Avgo, right? Avgo, big sell. You look at MU, even MU reversed a lot of its upside move. Big sell on MU. This is that seems so big on MU, but from highs to lows, that's a 6% equity move here on MU, right? So pretty aggressive selling pressure coming in on semis yesterday. And Nvidia, which was our top watch yesterday, was the beautiful trade, right? This was, again, what we spoke about pre-market. We just executed it live. There were a few ways you could have taken this. To be honest with you, I actually took this two different times on Wednesday's session. I took the initial rejection here at 130 or 183.50. 182.50. I got short over here. So I didn't get the exact highs here, but I did get the short over here with a defined risk above highs. I got some downside move. I then ended up reshorting this on the failure under 182 with a stop above 182 and got the downside move back into 179.30. So this was my day yesterday. And this was quite a nice session, a very nice session. And the best part about the session yesterday was because we had planned it in the pre-market session. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to jump into our earnings reports quickly. I want to dive into what's going on here on the ER side, and then we'll go into our econ data, and then we'll have a beautiful time on the charts this morning. Okay, so I feel like my energy level is low this morning. I feel a little bit like low energy. Maybe it's the weather. I don't know what it is, but I'm a little low energy. Maybe I need some more caffeine. I'm not yelling as much this morning. All right, let's try to wake ourselves up. So yesterday's session on the earnings docket, we had Teslita, we had IBM, we had QuantumScape reporting earnings. Obviously, the big one was Tesla. Tesla is down in the pre-market, but not down that much. American Airlines in the pre-market this morning, Honeywell in the pre-market this morning, INTC in the after hours today's session. Let's be aware of that going into our session ahead of us. Okay, econ data. On the econ data side this morning, today is Thursday, October 23rd. We have jobless claims 9 minutes ago. Did jobless claims get released? That is the question. And the answer is, drum roll. Hold on a second. Did it actually get released? I want to look at this. Did this actually get released here? I'm pulling up my thing here. It looks like from my end, there is no release today. No release of jobless claims data. Okay, so it says data release, but the data was not released. It is delayed. Okay, so again, that was 9 minutes ago. No jobless claims data this morning. And I assume that we'll have the same thing for the Chicago Fed. Obviously, you're seeing it here. It's delayed as well. So that was also 8:30. You have existing home sales 10 o'clock. I don't know whether that's going to be released or not. We'll see what happens. But again, just be aware of the fact that there may or may not be data at 10 o'clock. There may or may not be, right? So no confirmation there. Tomorrow, at least tomorrow's session, we do have confirmation. CPI, which was delayed a week, is now going to be delayed again. We should not be receiving CPI data tomorrow morning. Just be aware of that going into our Friday session. Friday session is going to be pretty interesting though, because we will be getting PMI. So PMI at 9:45 and new home sales at 10 o'clock. So let's see what happens on Friday session. I think Friday session is going to be a very interesting Friday. I think it's going to be a very volatile Friday. Okay. Friday session is going to be one of those days where, you're going to see a lot of traders get back their gains of the week, right? They have a beautiful Monday to Thursday, and then the Friday session, it's going to be crazy volatility, crazy hectic, and all the gains are gone, right? And trust me, I've been there before. All right, so let's get our energy back. Let's go to SPY's chart. Let's talk about what happened yesterday on the SPY chart. So what happened yesterday? Okay, let's go back into our session here, right? And what was the most important thing that we had yesterday, right? If you just review yesterday's price action in a few different components, right? You view, okay, did it touch all-time highs? No. Did it break under 670? Yes. This is the area that matters the most yesterday. The area that mattered the most yesterday on the SPY chart was, did it break under previous week highs? 670, right? And if you notice something, right, this was the consolidation that we were expecting. We were expecting one of two things to happen yesterday. This was my expectations, was we consolidate, and then either this or this, right? And if you had this mindset drawn out in your head prior to this happening, right, you knew that hypothetically, if this happens, it's bullish for upside move, or if this happens, it's bearish for a downside move. If you were waiting for that all week, right? And yesterday's session around 11 o'clock, 11:30, right? What happened yesterday? Well, if you look into the 5-minute chart yesterday's session of what happened intraday, you're going to see very clearly what you were waiting for all week, right? Now, I was already short Nvidia, so transparently, I didn't even take this trade, but I was short the market, right? And part of the reason why you could have had a continued short bias yesterday was off of what? Was off of the 670 break and retest short right there, right in front of you. This was perhaps the best trade yesterday on the SPY chart, was right here. It is right there on the chart. That's what it was, right? The failure under 670 was your short side move. Big head Brett. Why is nobody saying big head Brett? I want to make my face smaller. Let's make my face smaller. Let's make it a more reasonable sized head there. Okay, so there we go. Much better. Nobody's complaining. You guys got to let me know that. You guys got to let me know because my face was taking up like 90 or like at least 30% of that screen there. Okay, so on the SPY chart, 670 failure. That's what resulted in the downside yesterday to 667. There was a candle here into 663. Look at this candle here. Look at this candle. This candle was a news candle, obviously, right? So this crazy 1230 candle must have been a news candle. And the reason why I know that is because if I look at the volume is higher than it was for the opening bell, which is typically an indication that it was a news candle. And if you go to the 2-minute time frame, it is real price action. This is real price action here, but this was just a pure news candle. So interesting stuff there. Obviously, very high volume level, which you now know that this is something I probably would keep on the back burner. 664 is a level I'm going to have on my chart now because of that very high volume bounce and also the PDL there at obviously Wednesday's lows. So going into my session now, right, we basically are continuing this selling pressure off of the previous week highs, right? And if you understand one thing, right, you understand that stocks should move level to level, then if you understand that we failed under previous week highs, which is our key pivot yesterday session, well, where should we be moving into? Well, in theory, we should be moving to previous week lows, right? So if we move under previous week highs, we should move from, see, this is the Wednesday's highs here. Well, where's the Monday's lows here? The Monday's lows here, the real low is around 654. So my expectation now is if this is a real selling pressure move, then in theory, we should see us continue to form these these lower highs until we get back down to 654. Now that's just theoretical, right? To see if this actually happens. But as of right now, as long as we remain under 670, I think that we slide slowly into the previous week lows. That's just the ultimate. That's just where we should be going to as long as we remain under that 670 level. So your bias this morning very, very easily is defined by, are we below 670? If we are, then we are looking for shorts and then move down lower in the market, right? And we're looking for us to lower high, lower high, lower high, all the way to 654. That would be your ultimate target for shorts now here on SPY. Again, if we do reclaim the 670 though, then we're going back higher. We probably go back to all-time highs and we're going above all-time highs likely. In fact, we see this, right? So again, everything that goes into our Thursday and Friday session is going to be defined by, are we above 670 or below 670? So right now we are below it. So obviously look for the retest rejections here for puts, or look for the continuation move down lower. Look for moves under PDL, under 664 for puts. Look for the move into 661. Look for the move into 654, which should be your target. And don't do this though. You don't want to be the guy or the gal, right? You don't want to be the person, whatever the hell you are. You don't want to be the person that shorts back into one of these levels though, right? You want to be a person that is either shorting at a rejection point, you want to be a person that's shorting under a level, but you don't want to be a person that's shorting into the PDL, right? So even though I'm saying we're short bias here in the pre-market session, obviously we're short bias because the market's rejecting under previous week highs, but it doesn't matter. You can't just go short back into 664. So look for us to fail back underneath it, right? That would be a failure point in the market and the downside move. And then obviously 661, same thing. Don't be a rhino. Don't be all horned up, right? Into 661 thinking the market's going to go lower, and then it does this right in your face, right? You don't want that to happen. So if you're going to be smart about it, look to see how we react intraday to these levels on the 5-minute time frame, right? And an example of this, right? Here's a classic example of this. If you were all crazed up, ready to go down lower in the market at, on Tuesday session, right? Let's just say you did this. Let's just say you shorted the exact highs here. You got the beautiful move. I think this was a trade that either Mike or Rav had taken. Beautiful downside move, right? Bam, beautiful downside move. And then if you didn't profit taking a 670, you got slapped, right? This is the example of being a rhino into a level. Don't do that. If you're going to be waiting for something, wait for something like this. A big breakdown under your lows, retest, and a downside move. Now, if you short the extreme highs, like we did on Tuesday's session, yes, you could do this. It's beautiful and it works out incredibly well, but you have to be aware that the market may find support at 670. Likewise, today's session, if you see us push into supply today, you short the extreme highs for a downside move, you were profit taking at 667. You were profit taking at 64. Why? You were profit taking at levels because they are still areas the market may revert off of. Now, they're not bullish reversions, but they are profit targets for you on short side, okay? That's what it is here on the SPY chart. ES, very quickly on the ES chart, you can see, obviously yesterday's session was all about what? Basically, we had a PDL here, Tuesday's lows. We broke down PDL, we retested PDL, downside move. I mean, could you have gotten any cleaner than this? No, I don't think so. This was your big, beautiful trade yesterday, right? The big, beautiful trade yesterday was under 67.58 to 67.60. Mike and I spoke about this in the pre-market. We broke down, we retested the level, downside move. Now, where did we move to? We moved to 6,700 ES. Now, if you notice something, I think this 6,700 level on ES's chart was on our chart yesterday, okay? It was on our chart yesterday. And notice that big volume candle sell-off, that big crazy volume candle sell-off came right into 6,700 ES. And that, in my opinion, is doing something, is creating a level here. We already had this level here in ES's chart, but notice we didn't have it on SPY. That is a administrative error, right? That is an error. What the hell is going on here? Something's going on here, right? So if you notice something, I added this level here today, 664. It should have been on the chart because that was your ES 6,700 level. So we've added it, right? Obviously it's there now. And I think that if you are watching anything today, I would have less relevance on the 667 level. It's not so important to me anymore. What's really important to me now is this level right here is 664, because that, you know, is what is 6,700 ES. Okay, so we know how important this level is now. It's PDL, also that major level there in the ES chart, major psychological level in the ES chart. So again, what I'm trying to say here is watch out down below because we have some big support right here, right? That's just what it is. Big support right here, 664 SPY, 6,700 ES, and then big supply above us at 67.59. And what we've done here is we've created some really nice levels to trade off of today's session. So we know that if we are short today here on the ES chart, and you go short right there at supply, you know your target is back down into demand lows and not much more beyond that. Now, if we break down our demand lows, then yes, another leg down the market's coming in, but we have to be aware of how big the support is here on the ES chart. Very important levels. Let's move on now. Let's go over the Q's chart. QQQ. Again, there is opportunity every day at these levels. Now, granted, is it going to give you continuation, right? Now, I think yesterday's session was a prime example of it giving you continuation. Not every time is it going to give you continuation. I remember we said this time and time again, right? There's going to be times that you have a level like this, right? A level like this, beautiful level. And the stock breaks down your level, you get a 5% move, 10% move, and then it does this, right? And then you're washed. But again, you keep reasonable stops and you prevent it from this. You don't let it go higher than your entry point, right? And if you look at the QQQ chart yesterday, if you had the retest at 610 yesterday, you would have had a beautiful continuation, right? You can see here a beautiful breakdown under 610, a retest of 610, and a downside move. This was your ultimate short yesterday here at the 610 level for the downside move and continuation all the way into what? Where did the Qs move into yesterday? You got one of the best trades, I think, of all month. If you just waited all month for this trade, it took this one trade here in QQ, you would have made an incredible amount of money. A $10 move here on the Qs from 610 to 600 going into our yesterday's session. Now, the question is, what are we doing now here on Qs? Okay, so the first thing is I don't really have a level here between 602.50 and 598. But I can see how important this 602.50 level is. You can see 602.50, 602.50, 602.50, 602.50, and then pre-market this morning, 602.50 is still defending. So I know that even though we've seen some downside yesterday off of the 610 level, I know that a level to watch out for this morning is still 602.50. If we are under 602.50, more downside. But if we are above 602.50, we are forming up higher, right? So I think that we should be aware of this demand zone below, okay? Let's not be short in the 602.50. If we're gonna be short anywhere, be short off the 608 or be short under 602.50 for a downside move. But you know something, right? What do you know? You know that you can't really be short back into PDL, okay? PDL is gonna be a profit target for you for shorts. So be aware of that going into our Qs chart this morning. Now, I didn't draw a level here because I should draw a level there, right? I should have a level drawn here at 600 here on the Qs chart, but it's not going to be a solid line. I'll make it more of a dotted line because I know this is an area that has some relevance to me, but it's not as important as, say, 598. It's not as important as, say, 60250. Okay, so again, it's a level, but it's not going to be a major level I trade off of. So again, take it as you wish. Okay, all right. Let's hydrate a little bit and let's keep diving into charts. We're going to start off with the first ticker today's session. Let's go over Tesla. Let's go over Tesla. Before we continue, I want to do a little bit of a refresher here. We have 1,042 viewers here this morning. And of those 1,042 viewers, we have 368 likes. Guys, get the like count up. That's the only thing I ask for. we are doing a $1,000 giveaway on October 31st for Halloween. $1,000. It's a lot of money. Right? Let's go. So let's continue. I want to go over first ticker today's session. I want to go over NQ. I'll do NQ. I said I'd do that quickly. As you can see, NQ chart. NQ chart. I mean, obviously, my chart's not chart. To be honest with you, I don't really want to do this because my chart's is not charted. Right? I'm not prepared for this. I'm just simply not prepared for this. So I'm not going to do this. If you want me to bring NQ into the mix, I can do it. But right now, obviously, this it's pretty naked, right? I would say the biggest thing to watch, though, is that PDL, 24,812. And then obviously the rejection point from yesterday's session, which was 25,200. Those are your two big things to have here on the NQ chart, okay? But let's go over things we are prepped for. Tesla. So Tesla is in range, okay? This chart is simply just in range. And, yesterday we had earnings come out and the earnings still kept us within range. The chart has been bound up for a long period of time. Now, I do think that this, and obviously it's been for 42 days now. Is this 42 days? It's 41 days, I think. Let's just mark this out properly. From the 15th of September to today's session, the 23rd of October, that is 38 days, okay? That is 38 days that Tesla has been locked up. Let Tesla out now. Let Tesla go. So this Tesla chart has to go eventually. I just don't know when it's going to go, right? Right now, channel lows here at 416 and channel highs here at 446. You can see what I'm talking about, right? You can see the channel high rejections at supply. This chart has remained unchanged for weeks and weeks and weeks. You can see supply rejections, and finally at demand, we've already had demand here multiple times. 416, 416, 416, 416, 416. And you know that this is a big level to watch out for. Let's not be short in 416. If we can clear out 416, we can see downside back into, in my opinion, probably back into these highs here, right? Because look at this move here. Look at the move between this area here and this area here. The market does what? The market tends to give you equal and opposite reactions to the upside as is to the downside, right? So if we break under 416, we should see, in theory, a aggressive sell back into these lows. Now, we're not bearish though, right? So even though I'm saying this is all hypothetical. Let's not brainwash ourselves into bearish sentiment here because we're not doing that until we're under 416. If we clear into 416, then we can have the bearish sentiment. But as of right now, we are doing what? We're just basically back to the channel low and possibly just go right back to channel high here, which would be your channel high trade there. If you're looking for longs, well, above 445, you should see an equal move into these highs, which would be a move into 480. So eventually at some point, we're going to do this or we're going to do this. We just don't know when, or you don't know when it's going to happen, right? It's going to happen eventually. We just don't know exactly when it's going to happen. Let's see today. Could be today after earnings. We could see maybe a continuation move down after our earnings today, right? This could be a beautiful trade today, or we could see us just go right back higher above 445. Let's keep this on the back burner. 445 and 416 as your two big levels, right? Nvidia. So Nvidia, whoa, Frederick Price, thank you very much. Much appreciated, Frederick Price. That is very kind of you. That is a crazy comment. But I absolutely love it. I know I say the most wild things on the pre-market sometimes, so I appreciate you guys. I'm crazy. It's crazy. No one says anything anymore. Everyone just lets it. Everyone lets it past. Everyone. No one says anything. I love it. It's a nice. It's a nice time here. All right. So Nvidia. Okay. What was Nvidia yesterday? Nvidia was all about the 182. Okay. So yesterday was a pop and fade over 182. You saw it. It was a beautiful wham over the highs and a downside move. If you came to the live stream yesterday, you were prepared for this, right? If you came to the live stream yesterday, you knew what to watch and when to watch it, right? This was your where. Your where was 182. We popped up higher. We started forming rejections here. We broke down lower and a big downside move came in. This is the trade that we shorted yesterday on Nvidia. And this is why I had such a good day, was because basically we just traded what we were waiting for in the pre-market session. Now, what can we do now here on the Nvidia chart? In my opinion, I'm not going to be trading this today. I don't think I have any intention of trading Nvidia today. The reason why is because it's given you a few good moves recently. At this point, now we have demand below us at 176.5. It's actually met my target for shorts. The only thing I'd be watching now here on this chart now is I'm actually going to give more focus to two levels. The first level is going to be my demand low here at 176.5. This is the first area. You can see big demand below, and obviously extended past, it's big demand below. I don't want to be short into 176.5. This is your colossal level, your colossal zone here. If we can break down underneath this level, then sure, there is some downside, right? But as of right now, this is far in the back burner, and this is not top watch for me. My next level is 184. That's my big level. So my two big levels now are 184 and 176.5. That's it. I don't really want to trade anything in between now, right? Nothing in between is of interest to me because I don't know what's going to happen. This could be the start of a shift in trend, in which case we can look for longs of 184, right? So I don't want to be short into these demand lows here. I want to see what happens here. Let's see kind of, maybe by Friday session we'll have a better read and we'll have an attack plan on this come Monday. You have to understand something. Sometimes there are charts that you have attack plans on, and sometimes there are charts that you have exit strategies on, right? And right now, this is an exit strategy short, right? This is an exit strategy short. We're no longer interested in going short here as of right now because it is defending a level here, right? And so this is no longer an attack plan. This is a exit strategy, right? This is saying, you know what? Let's wait for us to clear under these lows. Now, if it does, then there's a new attack plan. But as of right now, this is not on the agenda, okay? But where is the attack plan centered around? AMD. AMD, there's an attack plan here. Why? Because look at this level right here. If you're looking for shorts in AMD today, look at this level right in front of you. This is an attack plan. This is an attack plan, a strategy here. Right? Look at this 224 level here on AMD, okay? You can see that this chart has remained relatively strong for some time here, but you know that if we clear under 224, there is the potential for a downside move back into these 208s, right? So again, big move up with a consolidation high here. We have a double top highs here. If we can break down underneath our 224 level, I'm looking for shorts and the move down lower, right? Now, I would not call this head and shoulders. I know people are going to say, is this the head and shoulders? But I'm looking for this to fail back under 224 for the downside move. Now, right now, I don't have a bearish thesis if we were above 224 though, right? I'm mostly focused to see if we can break down under 224 for puts. If that does happen, I'm looking for shorts back into 208. That would be my top watch for today's session. The second watch, my second attack plan here on AMD is going to be if we can pop into 235 today. If we pop into 235 today, which is that Tuesday's lows, I'm looking to see if we can get a fade here at 235. So looking for this little pop and fade, or I'm looking for the breakdown under 224 for the downside move. Now, again, this would be your highest conviction trade here, number one. Number two is a little bit of a frothy trade, a little bit of a sweaty trade, but I like it, right? This would be a rejection trade after a big move down on our Wednesday session, looking for a retracement to Tuesday's lows and the Monday's lows and the Friday's highs for shorts. That's a very simple trade here. So keep this on the main watch today. And if you were looking for fibs, watch this. Your fib level is lining up perfectly at the rejection point today. So watching this 235 closely today to see if we can get some pop and fades here on AMD's chart. Okay, top watch. Amazon. So Amazon, look, Amazon was a nothing day yesterday, right? So yesterday we just consolidated over demand. I would say this though, we don't want to short Amazon if we are above 218. 218 is your bull bear pivot, and we're still above it. We're still above it. We're still above it. And this is the level to watch out for. So don't be short above 218 here on Amazon, because if it does hold 218, you know where this is going to. It's going to do this. So keep an eye on that 218 level on Amazon's chart. Okay. Apple. On the Apple chart, Apple today, Apple is a name that is something I don't want to go short on. The reason why is because it's still maintaining structure pretty well. In fact, I think if we do see us reclaim above the pre-market highs today, there is a potential upside play here. So this is a strong chart. I would not short this name yet. It's still relatively holding strong. The only reason why I would go short on this name is if you lost under the lows of our Wednesday session. Under Wednesday's lows, I would look for shorts and I'd flip to a bear bias. But as of right now, I'm still maintaining a bull bias here on Apple. If we can reclaim 260 or 259.5, I'm looking for longs back into these highs there. This is also a top watch today. Apple top watch above 260, right? Let's move on. Let's go over a few more names. Let's go over. So again, you can see this, right? I have a bull bias here in Apple, a little bit bear bias here in AMD. And the reason why is because semis are selling off, right? Semis, the SMH sector is selling off. It sold off yesterday. If it can break under 333.50, we'll see some more downside on semis today. But again, that's my those are my level. And you know, you may say I'm wrong here, right? And I don't think I'm 100% right about this yet. But I do think that if we clear under 333 today on semis, we'll see another downside day here, another big downside day, because you can see how important this level is recently. So obviously you don't want to be a rhino and short right into this 333, but you do want to see if we can break down underneath this level for that continuation downside play, right? This would be a very aggressive sell back into these lows over here. So let's see what happens today in semis. I think semis are going to be an important watch going into our Thursday morning, okay? Let's go over a few more tickers. It's 9:04. We have time for a few more. Let's go over Google. Google yesterday, I mean, this is a strong chart, right? This is a chart that's still maintaining pretty well. I would be cautious of going short in this name. Why? Because it's still holding demand lows here at 247. I don't really have a play here, to be honest with you. I don't really trade Google very often, but you can see it is holding relatively strong against the market. So I would keep this far on the back burner if you are looking for shorts. If you're looking for longs, look for the reclaim above that 256 area. 256 reclaims for longs, okay? Let's go over AVGO. AVGO. AVGO is weak with the overall chip sector. It just basically overall supply rejections. There's no trade here, right? Look at this chart. Look at the chart here in AVGO, and you can clearly see why this does not yield a trade. This should not really give us any interest, right? But look at, for example, an AMD. AMD has a much clearer trend here. I could trade this and have some clear defined levels here, but AVGO has been chopping around for too long, and for that reason, it's not going to be of interest to me, right? But Intel, for example, INTC, Intel has earnings coming up. And I think Intel is a big one to watch going into our post-earnings session on Friday. Intel obviously has some big levels. The levels are as follows: 38 on the upper side. You can see 38 as supply. And then on the bottom side, we have our demand zone below 33. My big bounce area on Intel is 33. This is my big bounce area here on this chart. Now let's see what happens post-earnings, because obviously everything can change into our earnings session. But I like this a lot. Will be the pullback long here at 33. Again, though, I'm speaking too soon here. I'm speaking way too soon, because we have earnings in the after-hour session today, and we must be aware of that. Is it today or was it pre-market tomorrow? When is the earnings here on this chart? Let me just check that. Earnings on Intel today. Okay, so it is today in the after-hours. I'm long Intel. I have longs in Intel still, a little bit longs in Intel. Obviously, I've sold a lot of them, but I'm a little jittery to see what happens here with INTC into earnings. Okay, let's go over BYND. Mike told you guys to sell this on our pre-market yesterday, Wednesday. I hope you guys did sell some of them, but at this point, what's it doing? You need it to hold right here, right? My view now. I'll give you my view now, because I could do that now. Look at this level here. This is what you want to see it hold right there. That high from Friday the 3rd, that's the level you want to see it maintain. If it can maintain this level, you're all right. Okay, this is your load up spot. Again, though, this is your black and white trade, right? You know that it's going to be either you're right over here, and if it breaks under this level over here, you're wrong, right? So it has to hold right there, and that's the spot it has to maintain. Big level right there at 2.5. I would say it's between 2.5 to 2.8 is your demand here. 2.5 to 2.7, okay? That's your demand hold spot. Your daily 200 SMA is at 3.0, okay? TGT, Target. Target is moving up higher with retail. I like Target for longs. I'm not going to say anything here short term. I'm just going to leave it at that. You guys know what I am doing in Target, okay? Target has some levels above us at 100. That's where it's going to, okay? Let's end it here. Thank you all for joining in. We had over 1,000 people here in the pre-market. Guys, subscribe to the channel. If you're not already subscribed, what are you doing, right? Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys all for live trading. Bye, guys.